Super Rugby, round number 8. Teams are announced, folks. We'll go through some lineups, some stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how this week's games are going to go. Remembering 4 teams still on the bye. The likes of the Blues, the Brumbies, the Drua, and the Force are all taking a rest. Some of the teams who were on the bye last week have returned to action, and some teams still have the bye coming in round number 9. But for the 4 games that are on, 2 games on Friday, 2 games on Saturday, we'll go through them. And as I said, you guys can let us know your thoughts. First one, Moana Pacifica up against the Reds. Both sides have kind of had their moments this season. Certainly the Reds have looked like world beaters at times. Narrow loss to the Brumbies a fortnight ago in their last game. Moana Pacifica maybe feeling a bit of a burn from that last game where they got pretty well hammered by the Chiefs. But they are back at home, if you want to call it that. They're in Northland for this round 8 clash against the Reds, and they've made a bunch of changes. Whole new front row. Paulea gets a start at loose head. Morley gets a start at hooker, and Mafileo is the tight head this week. So all new for Tana Umanga's boys, and you would think Morley's going to need to be accurate with that line-out throw because the Moana Pacifica line-out, I believe, is the second worst in Super Rugby, with the Reds being, I think, 3rd. So certainly an area of strength for the Reds. The Moana Pacifica boys will need to be secure on their own ball. They've also brought in Alan Craig, who's going to get a start at lock, so maybe he can help secure a bit of that line-out ball for the Moana Pacifica boys. Likewise, Jacob Norris comes in. Havili Talitui comes in to captain on the side from number 8. Inari gets a start at 9. William Havili still gets the nod at 10. Christian Delefano is back on the bench though. Fine Anisi moves to the left wing. Henry Tafu's back at 13. Viliami Fine is on the right wing. So yeah, it's a bunch of changes. Danny Tuala also back into the 23 at fullback. Tamua Falau, I believe, is injured for this one. So yeah. Is that quite wholesale? It's a lot of changes. It's a lot of changes for Moana Pacifica. And as I said, they'll be looking for a much, much different result from what was a very disappointing one last week. For the Reds, as I said, they've been sitting for a week on the bye. Their record in 3-3 kind of indicates where they've been at this season. You still feel like they could put in a big shift, or maybe Northland will be a kind of tough hunting ground for them. We'll kind of have to wait and see, but they have been able to keep things a lot more stable than the Moana Pacifica boys. It is the same front row that played in their last game, same second row, same back row, forward pack totally unchanged. Uru is like in that second row, the top ball carrying lock, at least in terms of number of carries for Super Rugby this year. So he's been an absolute workhorse along with the likes of McCright and Wilson and whatnot in the back row. So yeah, it's been a really hard-working Rebels forward pack. They have made a few changes in the backs with Harry McLaughlin-Phillips getting the nod at 10. They're kind of managing the time between him and Liner, with both of them kind of being relatively young men, so they don't want to overwork either of them. Jordi Pataya switches to the left wing, Suliasi Funivalu up from the bench on the right wing, and the midfield is unchanged. So yeah, a bit of tinkering from the Reds, more than kind of wholesale changes like we've seen from Moana Pacifica. Now, if you're a Blues fan like me and your team ain't playing this week, why don't you check out Blues legend Kevin Mialamu talking about his career. He's legendary All Black as well. So the NZR Plus down in the description. Kevin Mialamu talked about the kind of 6 key moments of his All Blacks career that was especially important to him, which included, spoiler alert, winning the Bledisloe Cup, which for young New Zealand rugby fans may not even seem like a thing, but trust me, that used to be kind of a hard trophy for the All Blacks to wrestle back from the Aussies. So yeah, that and going to play in Samoa with his family roots there and whatnot. So yeah, really cool stuff. Check out Kevin Mialamu down in the description. But the second of the games from Friday, Waratahs taking on the Crusaders. Remember, the Waratahs have only won one game, and the Crusaders have only won one game. The Waratahs beat the Crusaders, but that was round 2 Crusaders. That was winless Crusaders, and you feel like, having beaten the Chiefs, the Crusaders are potentially going to get their season back on track. At the time, it felt like the Waratahs really needed a win back in round 2 to get their season on track, but it's not kind of gone according to plan. They haven't managed to get a win since then. So, yeah, 2 teams in a really kind of interesting position at the moment. The Tars, they've lost Gus Bell to injury, sadly, but they've brought in Thompson Stringer from the bench to start this week. The rest of the forward pack is largely unchanged, barring Ned Hannigan having to fill in at lock this week, and Longy Gleeson back at number 8. The back line is likewise more minor changes. Then wholesale Eze Parise getting a start at 13, and then Tristan Riley on the right wing. They've also got a potential debutant in Lewis Panini, prop replacement on the bench, so be a big achievement for him if he gets on. The Waratahs have actually got a decent tackling percentage. I think the tackle percentage is the top in Super Rugby, but they don't score many tries. I think they're the lowest Aussie side with the Force on 19 tries. So they need to score some points to beat the Crusaders, one would imagine. The Crusaders, maybe that bye didn't come at the right time for them, having sat last week after just getting a win. They might have liked to build a bit of momentum, but they've kept the side very, very stable. And with the big news that Ethan Blackadder is back fit and he is starting at number 6. So that guy's had a heck of a time with injuries throughout his career. So hopefully he has a good run at this point. Tom Christie's going to continue to captain the side. He is still easily Super Rugby's top tackler, despite the fact that they didn't even play last week. He's still like 18 tackles clear of the next best tackler in Super Rugby. But yeah, the rest of the side's pretty same. Same 4-pack. They've still kept Johnny McNichol after his try scoring run against the Chiefs. Fihaki's still there at fullback. Reese is still there. Almo is still there. McLeod's still there. The bench does see a few changes with like Drummond and Leo Willie and Moody and McAllister all kind of coming in, but steady from the Crusaders. Saturday games, Hurricanes Chiefs is a massive one, with both these sides being genuine title contenders. Hurricanes 6-0. Didn't play last week, but got a big win away at Dunedin a couple of weeks ago. Also pretty steady, barring that Cam Roigard injury. Long-term injury for him sees him out, but TJ Perenara, pretty bloody useful guy to be bringing in, to be fair, at number 9. Still chasing that top try-scoring record from other kind of former teammate Julian Savia. But yeah, same forward pack, same backline, barring TJ. Offload King Proctor is still there, and Morby's the top clean breaks guy for any Canes player. So yeah, very, very stable. Richard Judd kind of comes in as the other halfback in the side. And then the Chiefs, they got the bye coming up next week, so they'll be looking to kind of go hammer and tongs at this one. They have made a few changes, but Tupavai, him getting his 50th cap for the Chiefs is a big achievement for him in the second row, so congratulations to him. Aidan Ross is back in, Luke Jacobson is back in, Sean Stevenson is back in, so they are bolstered by a few kind of big name players, and then a few guys shift positions, like Nana Saturo shifts back to the wing to make way for Stevenson at fullback, and ALB gets his first start at 12 this year. But yeah, Josh Lord is unfortunately still available. That one does seem like a proper ding-dong battle. I'm going to be watching that one very, very curiously. And then, likewise, the last game, to be fair, the Rebels up against the Highlanders. The Rebels have been a bit of a surprise package. They've actually got a positive record at 4-3, despite the fact that they've kind of had all those off-field dramas. The on-field stuff's been all right. And then the Highlanders, massive preseason, regular season's 4-2 record is not that much to write home about just yet. But, both these sides still in the hunt for playoffs spots, absolutely. The Rebels have made a few changes. They've kept the forward, like the front line, the same, the front row, because they have been genuinely very, very good. It's been a good area of strength for the Rebels, with Talakai still captaining the side, meaning Tupou remains that kind of impact player from the bench. Tuilima switches to the second row this week. Kemeni's back in the back row. And, Andrew Callaway, their danger man, top defenders beaten guy for the Rebels, despite missing, I think, the last 2 games with injury. He's back at fullback, so he is certainly going to be probably the main man alongside Dalgunu to watch in that Rebels backline. Darby Lancaster's only a recent debutant for the Rebels as well, but he's been looking all right. He's on the left wing too. And for the Highlanders, didn't play last week. Couple of debutants on the bench and a big call at 10 with AJ Falefanga getting the nod ahead of Reece Patchell. I didn't see Reece Patchell on the unavailable list, so it looks like it's purely a selection one, given the kind of youngster a crack at 10. We'll see how he goes alongside Fakatava. And a couple of debutants, like I mentioned. Hugo Plummer, I think, has played about 9 minutes of rugby with the Canes at Super Rugby level. Otherwise, it's all kind of lower level rugby for him. So I hope he goes well in his first Highlanders cap. And then Will Stoddard, I think, Super Rugby debut, New Zealand under-20s international NPC player, but yeah, big thing to step up to Super Rugby level, so we'll see how he goes. Pari Parkinson's back into the 23, which is also a bit of good news. But yeah, the danger man for the Highlanders has really been Jacob Ratumaitavuki-Neepkins. He's got, I think, he's only behind Mark Talea in terms of defenders beaten for the entire competition. So that says something about how he's been going. But yeah, those are the lineups. How do you guys reckon these games are going to go? You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.